late now here is NC State going to the low post, and gosh.
C'est G. Williams, à nouveau, à 3 points, il est bien placé, c'est G. Williams qui remercie le ciel du Palais des Sports.
Johnson, now being the three for sure. Williams with the bingo! C.J. Williams.
I'm focused on the game, I'm focused on what I'm doing, and I can't really think about how, what's going to happen in the future. I just have to play.
I wanted to apologize to you guys. There's been just a whole lot of stuff going on here in Romania for me, so I haven't been able to film many episodes recently. So, I'm hoping to make this one a good one, and we'll get back to going and putting out regular content. But without further ado, my partner here is going to ask me some questions from the perspective of a person who isn't involved in professional basketball. So take it away.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So my first question was, what was your first thought when Jamie, aka your agent, told you, "Oh, CJ, you got a team in Europe that wants you"?
So growing up, in the US, in my time, you didn't hear much about, overseas basketball.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of didn't know much about it at all. And so it was one of those things where I was not surprised, because by the time Jamie introduced it to me, I had heard of people playing overseas. But I always had the dream of playing in the NBA. So it was more important for me to get to the NBA. When I went to Jamie, he came up with a 5-year plan of getting me to the NBA, and part of it included me going overseas. So I wasn't totally shocked, but it was interesting. It was a little bit of a culture shock going to Cyprus. In America, growing up, we used to think that everyone drove on the left side of the road and the steering wheel was on the right. In Europe, so and then I got there, and that's exactly how they are in Cyprus. So it confused me for a little bit, but pretty much now I'm used to it, and I enjoy my time over here.
What was your stereotype about European people?
Outside of driving on the left side, I know that there's a stereotype that like women don't shave and stuff like that.
That's French, no?
Yeah, I mean, it's European.
Yeah.
But we think that Germans and French and everybody is the same. So that was kind of the thing. Like, you don't expect women to shave, and then
we have also apparently French people don't shower either. That was the old stereotype.
Maybe. I don't really recognize that one too much, but yeah. I mean, and then other than that, it's really just driving on the left side of the road, and then we do think that Europe is behind, like as far as technology and all kinds of stuff like that.
It is.
So, that's another stereotype that we have. Americans think that the U.S. is the best country in the world. So.
Okay, so now you've been playing in Europe for what, 7 years?
Yep, 5 years back home and 7 over here. Yeah.
So, how did you handle by being alone the first few years?
So the first few years, my first year I had a roommate, so I didn't really have time to really think about being alone. I mean, I'm away from my family, which was unusual for me. I was always growing up, even when I went to college, I was only an hour away and stuff. But I think the biggest thing is there's a difference between being lonely or being alone and being lonely.
Yep.
I became comfortable with being alone. Like, I really got to the point where it was like it didn't bother me if I was alone.
So you never felt lonely?
I'm not gonna say I never felt lonely. There's always we call it the wall. You hit a wall a little bit after the holidays, maybe even during the holidays, that you kind of feel lonely because you grew up being around family during that time.
Yeah.
So you're not with your family and stuff like that. So, but I had a great group of friends outside of basketball in a lot of places, like even Israel. When I was in Po in the south of France, there
Yeah.
too, Pistoia was definitely one of the best experiences of my career overseas and stuff. And even here, like we have a great group of people that are with the team, and then
Yeah.
we have a couple of people that aren't. And it's nice to have that. And that's the most important thing is if you have those other people outside of basketball, at least for me, outside of basketball
So you think
to be
friendship is
around.
important?
It is, but it's not. I have my like personal group of friends, and I talk to the same people pretty much every day.
Yeah,
Um,
but with the time difference is kind of
with the
hard.
time difference is hard,
Yeah.
but that's a part of becoming like comfortable being alone.
Yeah.
Um, and so it's one of those things where it is important because you do need that. You do need somebody to talk to
Hmm.
all the time, but at the same time, you get used to it. I know a lot of overseas hoopers know this, but there was a famous tweet that the guy from Monaco, Mike James, put out.
Yeah.
It's about relationships, but it kind of goes into the same frame.
I remember it.
Huh?
I remember it.
Yeah, he was like, if I'm gonna be with somebody, like it's like basically the gist of it is if I'm gonna be with somebody, like you have to understand I'm letting you into my life. I'm used to being alone. So there are going to be some things that are going to make it hard. So being with someone, as you know now, like being with someone who's so used to being alone and so used to not having to, honestly, sometimes when I was single, I used to come home and I wouldn't say anything. I wouldn't talk. I would just sit and either watch a show or something, but I wouldn't talk. And I mean, I got used to that, and now my life has changed with you. So I
Oh.
have to, come home and understand that, I'm the only thing here for you. So I have to provide you that friendship that you need as well. So
Yeah. And so when you were single,
hmm
like the first few seasons, what activities did you have out of basketball?
so a big thing is before I turned pro, I talked to one of my veterans, Jordan Collins. Juice, I hope you're tuning in. Uh, but I'll never forget it. It was one thing I was just asking him, like, what's something that you wish you knew when you first got overseas? And the first thing he told me was have a hobby, have something that takes your mind off of basketball and allows you to refresh your
Hmm.
basketball mind. And I already had been playing video games, so it was like kind of an easy transition. I wasn't playing as much back then as I do now, but that's also because I'm a homebody, so
Yeah.
I prefer, and I have a great group of friends on the game now and stuff like that. So I that's all that it was. Is I decided to play video games, and then I love food, so like I would always try new foods and stuff like that. My mom always taught me to try different foods and stuff, and you know, and that's when I mean that's pretty much all I do is like play video games, go to the gym, go find some good food somewhere or something.
Yeah.
That's enough for me. I don't need like a whole lot of activity.
Okay, and I just want to come back real quick to the relationship
hmm
point. How would you handle, I mean, no, how to handle a relationship and being a pro
It's
athlete?
hard. It's very very hard. Um, I can only speak from the male perspective, um, obviously, but so it's hard because as a male, you're kind of taught to be strong at all times. Don't
Hmm.
be vulnerable. Don't be emotional or anything like that. So it can get difficult because basketball is an emotional game. That's usually the outlet of the times where I get to kind of yell and do whatever I want to do to get any frustration out that I
Hmm.
have. But being in a relationship, I have to remember that I can't bring that energy home. and sometimes it's hard. It's hard when a team is doing you wrong, or they're not treating you properly and stuff like that. It's hard not to bring that home, and you don't want to bring it home, but it essentially sometimes rears its ugly head, and that's okay. Like, you and your partner have to understand, like, it's going to be hard, and this is not just athlete relationships. This is every relationship.
Oh yeah, it's every kind of
It's
job.
going to be hard. It's like
Mhm.
it's like another job. Like, it really is, and you have to know that everything that happens in the right relationships, I'll say this, everything that happens comes from love. It's not from anger. You're not opponents, you're partners. You're trying to figure things out. You're trying to work together to create this life that you want. So yeah, like, if as long as you understand that and you focus on that, even in the hard times, it helps. So what were
But
you going to say?
I said also being in a relationship overseas, it's harder than being in a relationship in your own country. Why? Because when you get mad at each other, there's nowhere
There's
you can
nowhere
go.
to go.
There's
There's
nowhere to
nowhere
go.
to go.
You're like, fine, I'm going into the living room, stay in the room.
Yeah, like, it's just one in the living room, one in the bedroom. Like, and that's tough. That's tough, especially, like, for us, like, you're from France, I'm from the US. So, like, when we were in France last year, like, if we got mad at each other, at least you had your friends. You would leave. I'd have the house to myself. I'd be able to just do whatever, relax, get my mind off of it, come back, we'll talk, we'll apologize to each other. Well, I'll apologize to you. You don't never apologize to me. But I'm joking. It's a joke. It's a joke.
Okay, thank you.
But it is hard because, like, here we both are here for each other. So, like, that's
Yeah.
it. That's it. You don't want to interrupt your friends' lives. Like, we have friends and stuff here too, but we don't want to interrupt their lives. Like, oh, I got in a fight and I need to get some time. I need a breather. Like, they may be doing something. They may be busy with their own family or something.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, it's a little more difficult when you're overseas.
But I guess is making your relationship stronger. You know what I'm saying?
It can, but I also think sometimes it can make it a little weaker. And I say that only because, like, um, the frustration starts to build and it compounds. It doesn't, like, sometimes it doesn't subside. Sometimes it's, like, so frustrating that I just can't go anywhere. There's nowhere to go to get away from,
Mm-hmm.
and that can build and build and build and build. And then me personally, I eventually get to a point where I'm like, all right, let me just apologize. Even if I think I'm right, like, let me just apologize so that the aura is different,
Yeah.
and then I can just enjoy my day.
Okay.
Hold on, my nose again.
Babe.
No, I had to, because I had, like, felt like a feather was on my nose. Okay.
You done?
Yeah. Nothing in my nose?
No.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so what basketball brought into your life?
Everything. One of my first pictures as a child is a picture of me with a regular Nintendo controller in my hand and a basketball between my legs. So my life has always been basketball and video games. I mean, as a kid, I used to go outside all the time. I didn't play video games during the week. I would only play on the weekends, and even when I played on the weekends, I wasn't playing too long because I was trying to go outside. But
Yeah, kids, go outside.
yeah, go outside. It helps a lot. But it brought me everything. Like, without basketball, I would have never met you. And then without basketball, I would have never met some of my best friends, like, and stuff like that. So, it's it can be kind of scary sometimes when I think about it, because I know I'm towards the end of my career, and my entire life from the age of 4, as far back as I can remember, I've been playing basketball.
Yeah.
So it can get kind of scary. Hopefully, prayerfully, I'll get to coach in the NBA like I want to, and still be around the game and give back to the game what it gave me. A place to enjoy myself and have fun and get frustrated and just basketball is where I can let out all my emotion, no matter what, except with the referees. But yeah, I get to let out all my anger, frustration, and all that kind of stuff with that, and video games too.
Okay. And like, what would you do if basketball was not a job anymore? Like, if tomorrow basketball
So
like
tomorrow, so I
stop
can't.
existing?
So it just
There's
doesn't exist anymore. We have the memory of it, but it doesn't
yep,
exist.
yep.
Hmm.
You cannot make money out
I
of
would
basketball.
probably coach football. I think I would. I mean, I could possibly play. I'm not.
No.
I'm not trying to get in this whole Austin Rivers and all those guys. I'm not trying to get into that conversation. No. I'm not trying to get into that conversation. I'm not saying that it's easy, but I do believe that being a person who formerly played football, understands football, loves the game of football, I could play, but I think I'd be better off just being a coach.
I don't want you to get a
Being a
concussion.
quarterback. Huh?
I don't want you to get a concussion.
Yeah, but
No.
I'd be a
We're not doing
I'd
that.
be a quarterback. So like
Mm.
it's harder for quarterbacks to get concussions. They protect the quarterback.
Mm.
Plus now this year they're using the little there's like a little fluffy thing on the outside, like a
Yes,
pad
still.
on the outside. It looks ugly, but
I'm not a big fan.
it works. But yeah, I mean, I got a concussion in basketball too.
Mhm.
I've had two.
Yeah, but it's less rare than football.
I mean, less common.
Common,
Yeah,
yes.
it's less common. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, for sure. But
My bad, I'm French.
don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just talking. We all mess up in our own language. So
Okay, all right. So I have another question. Like, how hard it is to be away from your family for like over
I mean,
10 months?
like I said, growing up, I was always within an hour from my family. Like even at school, I was an hour away. My dad only missed 2 games, home and away. That's 2 games, home and away, of my college career. And so I'm just used to seeing them in the stands and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And now that I'm a professional, I know I have a job to do. I know I'm over here for a reason, stuff like that. So, it's hard. It is hard. And especially, as I get older, obviously my parents are getting older and stuff like that. So, it's hard for me to be away. And you would think that it gets easier. It actually gets a lot harder every year. There have been times, I think last year I was getting on the plane and I was crying just because like I was like, man, I'm really leaving again. And I got to be away from my family for another 9 to 10 months.
And you're missing birth, you're
And
missing
I'm missing births, I'm missing
birthday.
birthdays, funerals, like times where I'm supposed to be there. The holidays, like that's why the holidays are always so hard for me. But you know, it gets very hard, and especially when things get tough with the team, and you get
Yep.
frustrated, and then those are the people you want to be around, not just talk to. You want to be around them. You want to feel your mother's vibe, your dad's vibe, your sister's vibe, stuff like that. So,
Hmm.
um, yeah, I mean, it's on a scale of 1 to 10, it's probably a 12 how hard it is to be
Yeah.
away from your family. But
Yep.
you have a job to do, and you have to be a professional, so you kind of just get it done.
Okay, and do you think you guys, I'm talking about all the professional athletes that have wives and girlfriend that live with them, do you think they recognize how hard it is for us to be girlfriend or wife of?
Yeah, I think the thing that I really believe, I believe that a lot of times the significant other of an athlete thinks that the athlete doesn't understand their situation, and that's actually completely false. Like me personally, I think about it all the time. Like I'm always like, okay, let me make sure that this is right, that this is right. I know she's over here making this sacrifice, stuff like that. There's not a day in my life it doesn't cross my mind. So I think that if anybody doesn't understand, it's that like the girlfriend or the wife doesn't understand that we know, and
Mhm.
that's in an example. at least for me, we did the love language thing before, and mine is acts of service. Like
Yeah.
certain times, like I just do certain things just so I can take a little bit of pressure off, or just so I can, make you feel good, just to see you smile and stuff like that. Like
Yeah, like
so,
leaving the light on and
yeah, like all that kind of stuff. Sometimes, no, I will say I don't do that on purpose, but there are some things that I kind of do on purpose just to get a reaction, so that you can get your emotion out.
yeah, yeah, okay, it make me
So
mad and yada yada
yeah,
yada.
of course. I mean, it does,
Mm-hmm.
and it causes an issue
Mm-hmm.
sometimes. But I think it's a healthy thing, because if we were just happy all the time, that we would be covering stuff up. It wouldn't be. It's not. It's not how a relationship works. As adults, that is not how
Sure.
a relationship works. So.
And like I want to stay in this subject, but like, do you know, like some people outside of basketball, like me before,
Mm-hmm.
like they couldn't understand how it is to be like an athlete and a girlfriend or wife,
Mm-hmm.
because people think, oh, your life is amazing, you be traveling, you be the wife of or the girlfriend of, not doing anything, just being here. And your man is super rich, your man yada yada yada, your man travel, your man play basketball, this is easy, this is the life that we all want to. But people don't understand how hard, and it takes a lot of patience, a
A
lot of
lot
patience.
on both sides.
Yeah, on both sides. And people that have kids, and you need to find a school for the kids. Sometimes the team don't help, and it just a lot of details that you know
A lot
people
of
don't think about.
things. A lot of things that we take for granted being at home, you don't realize how important they are until you are abroad. I know, like me personally, like thinking about the kids thing, like my friend Julian, he had to, when he was in Israel, he had to find a school for the
I
kids,
remember.
and it had to be like an English speaking one. So like that makes it even harder, because obviously most schools are in their native tongue, the native tongue of the country, and so like you have to find an English speaking school. You have to find
And even for the apartment,
like
like you
in an
didn't have enough room for the
apartment.
kids, remember?
Yeah, like you have to. Yeah, and so like it's a lot of things that we may take for granted being at home, that you have to deal with when you're traveling every year to a different country.
And this is where you appreciate the little things, like
Yeah.
going just to a coffee in your country, or for like to a restaurant,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know
Seeing your friends from back
yeah,
home, and seeing them and being able to shake their hand or give them a hug
yeah,
or something, like not just through a phone. So.
yeah. It's hard sometimes. It can be
Oh
hard,
yeah.
but people and teams don't understand. They don't see this our point of view. It's just
I don't think that they don't see it.
a lot don't
I
understand.
I think some teams don't, but I don't think all teams don't. They do their best to kind of, I can't think of the right word, like involve you to where it kind of keeps your brain busy. Um, but there are some cases, as in anything, that are bad and they don't
Yeah,
understand and stuff like that. So but at the end of the day, like I know that I have a job to do, and this is what I signed up for. And
yeah.
unfortunately, while I kind of have to just roll with the punches, and instead of being able to speak my mind freely, um, sometimes I just focus on the goal. The goal is to get all my money, every check in full. That is the goal at the end of the day.
Okay, and since we're talking about like clubs, what do you think? No, how clubs should treat import players?
I mean, as far as the imports, just the biggest thing, have a good English speaking liaison between the players and the management or the coaches or whatever you need. The reason I say that, you need someone who can go with you if you have to go to the hospital, if you're sick or something. They can at least go with you, speak to them in their native tongue, so that they understand what you need. or if you have to, like here with the apartment, thank God our owners speak French, or the woman speaks French, because if not, it would have been very difficult to talk to them in English and stuff like that. So that right there alone will solve so many issues with the team. And a lot of teams have it, and some teams don't. Some teams kind of leave you out to dry and just like, look, you got to figure it out. Like you have Google Translate on your phone, like go ahead.
But that can make some misunderstanding.
Yeah, it can create
Yeah.
misunderstandings, because you can be saying one thing, and I've learned you can say one thing in American, and then you say it in British English, and people understand better. Like, so it's like,
But sometimes you want to say something and they understand something else, and you're like, no, I said this, so I meant this.
So it's tough.
Yeah.
But that right there would solve probably, of the, let's say it's a total of 10 problems, that'll solve at least eight problems, because it allows the communication to be there. And that is a huge thing when it comes to work, job, whether it's an athlete, whether you're a Fortune 500 company, whatever. Communication is key. Communication is key. You need to be able to talk and get through every issue, problem, flim flam, whatever you want to call it. Like you need to be able to talk.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So now you've been playing 13 years professional?
12.
12?
Mm-hmm.
How it is to be working with the same agent?
Well, Jamie's like a big brother to me, man. It's just like, when I think about it, he's the first agent that I talked to that really believed in me. And, him also going to my alma mater as well, North Carolina State Wolfpack. Congrats on the Final Four run, y'all. But just him, kind of watching me through the years, watching me in college and stuff like that. And then when I got the chance to talk to him, I told him my goal, and he told me it'd be tough, but we can make it happen. He believed in me, and yeah, I mean, he's like a big brother to me. I can't imagine any point of my life, the rest of my life, without him. Yeah. So he's gonna be there for everything.
But like, what are the advantages and disadvantages?
The advantage is that you have a familiarity. He knows places that I refuse to go to, regardless of the money. There's certain places that I refuse to go. Certain situations I refuse to go to, because of, just my personal beliefs. And there's nothing wrong with those teams, those countries, whatever. That's on them. But like, it's also my decision. I'm a grown man. I'm a businessman. So like, if I feel that something is not beneficial to my mental health or whatever,
you're not going.
I'm not going. And so that's a big advantage. A disadvantage could be that, he only has certain connections to certain teams or certain agents and stuff. And maybe if it was different, there would be different jobs. But also, that's on me, because in my opinion, that's on me, because if I go somewhere, let's say I came here and I played well enough and then Cluj called, like then I help him create that connection to one of the best teams in Romania, or the best team in Romania, in my opinion. But it's also like, it's a little bit, I wouldn't say a disadvantage. It's just something that comes with being with the same person for years. Like, when you meet the same people, you talk to the same people and stuff like that. And so, over time, you develop these relationships and friendships, and you kind of you get used to what you can, like, where you're going.
Yep.
You get used to the type of places that you're going. So you know what to expect when you go into it.
So you like to play in Europe?
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. I like the lifestyle in Europe.
Very chill.
Yeah, it's really relaxed. Sometimes too much, and that makes me mad. But
oh my gosh.
It's also like, when I'm back home, like, sometimes like all the hustle and bustle gets too much, and I'm just like, dang, find a happy medium, and then we'll be fine. Like, but it's not going to happen. So
we happy here.
I mean, yeah,
we happy here.
Yeah, playing in Europe, it's fun.
So, last question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
5 years, I'm hoping to be coaching.
Yeah,
I hope to be coaching.
that early?
If my body tells me that I need to stop playing,
Okay.
like I'm not gonna sit here and end my career early because I, want to go into coaching unless the opportunity is right.
Yep.
But I also know if I stop playing basketball, it's extremely hard to miss a year or miss 2 years and come back, especially on your body, but also the teams aren't going to be interested.
Yeah, you gotta be
So,
sure.
yeah, I would have to be like completely sure that I'm
Yep.
done and stuff like that. But I'll let my body tell me, and I don't want it to be where my body breaks down and that's when I'm deciding to stop, because I still want to have a good life after basketball. But I'll let my body tell me when I'm done playing ball. But in 5 years, if I'm not still playing, I hope to be coaching. I want to be on the bench. I want to be making some decisions and helping guys get better at the game.
Yeah.
And kind of giving back. Like I said earlier in the episode, like giving back what the game gave me, like a place to get lost.
Oh, that's cute.
Sure, it's ridiculous. But yeah, guys, I guess that was the last question. Again, thank you for tuning in. Like, subscribe, share. And I promise, we're going to be putting out more content. Don't worry. It's just been a little hectic here, trying to figure out what's going on and stuff like that. And, sometimes feeling a little bit under the weather and then traveling and enjoying my time off after this season has ended. But yeah, I promise to put out more content, and I'll see you soon.
We did it.
Yep.
40 minutes. Boom.